I'm going to give you 3 strategies to avoid the dreaded copyright claim on your guitar covers on YouTube. Let's jump right in. Now, before we go through the approaches, I need to quickly define what a copyright claim is. Just like it sounds, it's the owner of the copyright claiming the music and saying that they are going to take some or all of the profits from your video. So the first way to avoid a copyright claim, and this is going to seem obvious, is don't use the original copyrighted music. You can do this a couple of different ways. What I like to do is to create my own backing tracks. What I love about that is that not only are you growing on guitar, but you're developing as a musician as you go through and layer in drums, bass, and maybe even vocals. Another suggestion would be to go out and look for backing tracks that other musicians have created that they will allow you to use for free on YouTube. So this first strategy of not using the original copyrighted music is the most surefire way to avoid a copyright claim. So from this first suggestion, a lot of you will probably say, I don't have the time, ability, energy to go in and create all of my own backing tracks. So the second option is to add an instructional component to your video. So instead of just playing along and jamming, actually talk through the riff or add an on-screen tab. Because you've added the educational component, it's viewed as having transformed the original content, and it could qualify for fair use. Now, the third option is to modify the original copyrighted music in a way that makes it less detectable. There are quite a few different ways to modify the original audio file. The first is managing the volume of the audio file versus your guitar cover. I like to take that original audio file down by about -13, -15 dB, and then my guitar cover will really sit on top of it, and you can hear that much more clearly, and it'll really mask the original song, making it less detectable. Another thing you can do is to remove the vocals from the original track. I like to use a site called vocalremover.org. And that takes the vocals out, so it'll just give me the music. And when you don't have the vocals, it makes the original song a lot less detectable. The third way that you can modify the original track is to use pitch shifting or to change the tempo of the song. As a rule of thumb, I'll change the pitch by about 5 semitones, and that makes it significantly less detectable because you've altered the structure of the song. From a tempo perspective, I'll change it between 30 and 40%, either sped up or slowed down. Now, there's a big drawback to doing either of those, and that is if someone's following along and wants to play with your song, you've modified the original song. Changing the pitch will change the finger positions if you're playing on guitar, and then changing the tempo will make it much more challenging for someone to play along with the song at the original pace. Now, I will say that using the original song and doing these things is a bit risky because at the end of the day, you are using copyrighted music material. So you can change it and it might pass that initial screening and it might not identify something, but if you get to the monetization point, your video may be found out down the road. So what strategy you want to use is going to depend on your abilities and what you want to get out of your videos. As a first option, do not use the original copyrighted music. As a second option, add an educational component and transform the original content. As a third option, modify the original content using one of the ways we talked about. So if you've either not used the original audio or you've significantly transformed the original song in your video by adding an educational component, you can submit a dispute. What you'll want to do is submit the claim under fair use. Here's an example of what I'll draft when I'm submitting a dispute. Now, like I said before, I have a really high success rate of getting claims dropped using this method. However, it's obviously never guaranteed. All these record companies are different and any of them could push back and keep the claim on the song. And it's going to come down to how much you transform the video and, to be honest, what kind of record label you're dealing with. However, speaking from my own personal experience, I have never been denied after I disputed a claim when I transformed the video by adding an on-screen tab or talking through a riff. Also, the great part is a lot of these record labels do not have people assigned to actually monitor the disputes. So what ends up happening a lot of the time is you'll submit the dispute. After 30 days, they haven't responded and it just goes away. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment. And here are a couple of my covers that you can check out.